Mike Halac, Mantaur, is yet another one of those wrestlers that fans believe just poofed out of thin air, had a hokey gimmick in WWF, and then never wrestled again. And that's, again, not the case. I see a lot of parallels with someone from the same time period who had very similar circumstances, and funny enough, also named Mike Shaw, Bastion Booger, or someone like a Rick Titan. They did good shit, just not on Raw every Monday. Mantaur is 5 or 6 months of Mike's 28-year career, give or take some dormant stages. And if you want to talk like steady work, getting paid super well, wrestling in front of big crowds, Mike had just as good of a career as just about anyone we've ever talked about, excluding the Eddies and Dusties of the world.
Yeah, and he was in the mix with all those occupational gimmicks, those weird gimmicks, like the Goon with Wild Bill Irwin. But at the same time, too, like a lot of those guys that got those gimmicks put on them, they'd already had these really interesting and fascinating, wonderful career in the territory system, or was doing amazing work in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Or with Mike, debuting as late as he did, he kind of missed out on all that. So, like, this was, like, kind of his only option at a possibility of success. Anytime you get to a company like WWF, you're hoping the timing works out. Like, if you get signed by WWE, hopefully it's the time that they're really into indie guys. Where if you were the hot indie guy in 2009, going to WWE would be a big fucking mistake. Unless you were, like, maybe 2 or 3 people. But then showing up in 2015 was the great time to be there. But then a little bit after the pandemic, you were just grinded meat that was run through NXT, then fired, and then you got to go off and find a career now in the dwindling indie scene. So it's all a matter of timing. Like, obviously, if you had, like, big dreams of success, probably not the best timing. But as far as what he had available to him, as far as opportunities go, pretty solid, I think, and he made the most of it.
Yeah, this is really the first I'm checking out of Mantaur's career. And I always knew about Mantaur as like the joke gimmick that everybody would make fun of. It was on Botchamania, and just like the whole idea of it was absurd. But checking out some of his other stuff, he just seems like an all-around tough motherfucker. And it's always funny to see the like toughest guys get stuck with that goofy gimmick. Like someone who could obviously beat up most of the people. He's just like such a stout, rotund man.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, man, we're going to stick this weird-ass head on you. Go out there and have fun.